Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. So I thought in this video I would do somewhat of a continuation of like the last video about the Dory mode and about some ideas that you can actually come up with using that mode. So I thought we'd focus on the Phrygian mode and how to use that and just, just a few ideas that you can use in your improvisations. So first off, we're just going to find where the Phrygian mode is or some of the common places that you can find it on the neck. So 7th fret here on the A string, so we've got this quite common shape here. So that's going to be 7, 8, 10, and then 7, 9, 10, then 7, 9, 10. So that's a 1 octave shape, or 1 and a bit octave shape. You can also find it here as well. What we'll do is we'll stick to this portion of the neck and then we'll sort of we'll branch out from there, yeah? So Phrygian mode, what makes a Phrygian mode? So if in the context of modes, it's the 3rd mode of the major scale. So we're doing it in E in this case. If we, for example, if we take the note of C major, right, if we take a C major scale, right, and we, rather than make that our starting note, we make the 3rd degree our starting note, we then get what we call Phrygian. So in this case, it's like a C major scale starting on the note E. So it's exactly the same note of C, but we just shifted the starting point. So the feature of this mode is definitely the flat 2 and the flat 3rd, and even the minor 6 as well. So we've got a root, flat 2, a flat 3rd or a minor 3rd, perfect 4th and 5th, a minor 6, and then our minor 7th, yeah? So it's this F note in the scale that's really making, bringing that sound to life. So all these riffs that you hear, all this kind of stuff, so it's like the sound of metal. It's very, very common. It's like, it's the sort of the quintessential metal sound, along with your minor scale, of course. So how to use this in sort of in your improv and in like sort of your metal guitar playing and stuff. You want to try and like focus a lot of your phrases on this like flat 2, so because a good way to do this, if we can take an E minor triad and then just put an F note in there and we get this. So already it's changed it quite a lot. Yeah, and then we could do it the next octave as well. We're just trying to think of ways to sort of make this, make the Phrygian mode sound more like Phrygian, yeah? Oh, it's so you can hear it's starting to come out a bit. So let's just try a few ideas. As you can hear, I was trying to target particularly that E and that F note. It's that semitone movement, yeah? Along with like a few little arpeggios here and there. So particularly with the E minor, with that F on the bottom as well, yeah? And as you can see as well, a lot of your 3-note per string patterns work as well. So a lot of your, your usual shred shapes and all that sort of stuff. All this kind of stuff. Again, you can go. Let's try it. A lot of your shreddy shapes and all your 3-note per string, they work really good over this, Any way you want, One thing I really like doing as well, like I just did there, is where you do an E minor arpeggio. So it's a root, minor 3rd, then 5th, and then your root. I just put the flat 2nd on the top there. So it ends up being like this. you know? So it's really, it's that thing. If you want to emphasize the Phrygian a lot and really really tell people that you're playing in Phrygian, it's the emphasis between that root and that flat two, and your minor third as well. So again, I was just trying to emphasize that minor second and that flat third as well, yeah? Usually with a bit of a run up as well. I'm also doing that kind of movement between the fifth and the minor six as well, yeah? That sort of brings it to life too. It's that emphasis on those half tones, yeah, and those semitones. So the other thing I really like to do is to, rather than just playing what I call the standard Phrygian, because it's cool and everything, but very quickly I become a little bit bored of that sound. And what I like to do is basically, so so far we've just had a normal Phrygian, 3 notes per string. What I like to do instead is make this a Phrygian dominant, which is a very familiar sound. So rather than so with this, obviously normal Phrygian we've got G, we're just going to make all of them G sharp. So it's going to be sounding like this instead. Like that. Which is more of a harmonic minor sound, but there's a lot of overlap, yeah? So again. I personally think it sounds a lot brighter and a lot more sinister, to be honest. I think Phrygian, like normal Phrygian, can sound a little bit dull at times. So essentially, you just take your Phrygian mode and just make all your G's G sharps, yeah? So, you know, there's a few different forms of this. So that was your 3 note per string form. And you have this one as well, which I do quite a lot. So it's that G sharp, it really gives it a real extra edge, I think, yeah? So let's try it. So to me, that's a much more brighter sound than sort of the normal Phrygian. I think you could do a lot more with it as well. So let's break down a few little ideas there, yeah? So I did this kind of thing, which is very, very domination, you know, very dime bag. Just a pattern of 4s basically. And then just sort of descended the scale. And trying to like sort of land on that G sharp of it and emphasize that a lot, you know? And then go with that root, yeah? So I even did a few string skipping ideas. So not so much string skipping, but like more like wide intervallic things, you know? So a lot of your English style stuff works really well. Your diminished 7th arpeggios, they work really well. So a lot of this stuff, or rather, and then you can just sort of, or basically your E minor arpeggio becomes like a major one instead. So you end up getting with this kind of thing. One more time. sharp, we've got normal Phrygian. And then Phrygian dominant. You can think of that basically as Phrygian with a major third, which in this case is G sharp. That'll be all for now, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and give this a like and subscribe to the channel. Cheers.